All right, gang. The fight of the night was, where's the fight of the night? No, it's performance. All right. Yeah, I got it. Kennedy versus Olberg is fight of the night. Kai Kara France, performance of the night. And Euros, performance of the night. They all won $50,000. Congrats.
Dana, I wanted to ask you about the main event. Maybe not quite the barn burner that everybody was hoping for, but it ended up being kind of a technical battle. What did you think about the way the fight played out, and of course, how the scores played out?
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you get two of the best in the world and they fight, you know, it's like you said, it can turn into not a barn burner. You know, it's very technical and safety first, one of those type of fights. The scoring is insane. These guys are giving out 10-8 rounds like fucking. There were 2 rounds in that fight that they gave a 10-8. Now, when I came up in the fight business, a 10-8 was an ass whooping. You got your ass whooped. You didn't do shit in that round and got beat down if it was a 10-8. They got to stop giving this 10-8 shit's out of control right now. So hopefully we can get this fixed, and they're going to screw up a lot of fights. They're handing out 10-8s like that. There was no 10-8 in that fight.
Israel obviously comes up short in his bid to become a champ, but I'm just curious, kind of what you think this does for him long-term legacy. I mean, he took a chance, right? I mean, he took a big shot by moving up. So does this impact him negatively, or ultimately does this maybe be a positive that he rolled the dice like this?
Listen, he's the middleweight champ. He doesn't get the light heavyweight title. He doesn't fight John Jones. But you know what? You can never hurt somebody for thinking big and trying to become great. You know, he gave it a shot tonight and didn't happen. And, you know, Jan is the man. He is the 205-pound champ, and now he starts taking on all comers in that weight division.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you think it kind of legitimizes Jan as the champion? I mean, not that he wasn't the champ already, but, you know, some people said, well, it's only because Jan left, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Listen, this guy's a tough guy. You've seen all the guys that Izzy's fought and what he's done. You know, Jan's a tough guy. Jan, when I got up in the octagon, I put the belt on him tonight. He turned around, looked at me and said, "You don't believe in me." I said, "What the fuck did I do? How did I not believe in you?" These guys are crazy, man. You know, they're very, it's the word I'm looking for. They're very, I don't know. They're fucking crazy. That's what it is. It's the word I'm looking for. I've nothing but say good things about the guy, but yeah, he thinks I don't believe in him.
You want to tell him now you believe in him?
Yes. I was stunned. I was like, what? What did I ever say to make you think that I don't believe in you?
He said that he'd be kind of interested in fighting Glover to share next. Glover was the backup. Do you view Glover as the #1 contender right now?
Yeah, Glover is, 100%.
The GOAT in the women's division in the co-main event, obviously just an absolute devastating win. What did you think about Amanda this evening?
She's incredible, and she goes in there and she made it look easy tonight against a really tough girl who hits hard and who came to win. So couldn't happen to a better human being. She's one of the sweetest people on earth, and I'm really happy for her. And we're talking about turning her around quick here for the 135-pound title, since tonight was an easy night for her. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think she got out healthy. Juliana Pena stepped up and said, "Hey, Holly Holm is out of our fight. I think I should be the one to challenge for that title." Is that the fight that you'd like to make at 135?
Juliana Pena's been texting all of us all night. She's been busy tonight. Yeah, we could do that.
And then weirdness, of course, in the bantamweight title fight, right? The first ever champ to be crowned via disqualification. Man, what did you think watching that whole thing play out?
Yeah, it sucked. It was a good fight. I mean, that was a fight that everybody was excited about tonight. Everybody knew it was going to be good. And, well, yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah. Both guys want to run it back. I mean, it was a very competitive fight. Safe to say we put that one back together again?
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Fair enough.
Aljo went to the hospital. He's cleared. Nothing wrong with him.
Good. I want to ask you, I mean, the whole card was loaded, right? I mean, it's the top to bottom. There were a lot of big names. The bonuses all went to fighters on the prelims. But a name that had some buzz was Sean Brady, this undefeated guy, taps out. You know, Jake Matthews, a stud, and a lot of people are kind of buzzing around him. Is he kind of on your radar? What do you think about him at this point?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That guy's an absolute stud, man. And, you know, the Matthews fight for him was a big fight. And you're right. Matthews is tough as nails. Has a great record, and Brady looked good tonight again.
Last thing for me, What can you tell us about Dominick Cruz and Hans Molenjamp? What is the story there? And I mean, is this an issue? Obviously, Monster is a big presenting sponsor of the organization. So what's going on here?
Yeah, listen, it's all weird. You know, is Hans a goofy dude? Yeah, he's a very goofy dude. But they're a sponsor. I mean, these guys are a sponsor. They're great sponsors. They pay these guys a lot of money. You know, Monster is one of these companies that really, really takes care of people. And it's their company. They can sponsor whoever they want. They can run their business however they want. This isn't like a work situation where you're working for somebody and you're not happy about the way you're being treated. This is a sponsorship deal. You know, these guys can spend their money and run their company however they want to. And nobody's guaranteed money from a sponsor. There's no, you know, it's a privilege to get money from a sponsor. So if you don't like the way they do business, don't do business with them, you know? But they've been good to us, they've been good to the sport, and they've definitely been good to the fighters, you know? I get it. He doesn't like him, and, you know, some guys have a problem with him, and, you know, it's easy to figure that one out. But Monster as a company, they've been solid, man. They couldn't be any better. I remember the first time that I ever talked to the owner to do a deal with those guys, we had talked about numbers, and then he was like, yeah, no, I want to give the fighters an extra $25,000. And I was like, holy shit. He's like, yeah, no, we take care of people, and we, you know, they're a damn good company, solid, and they take care of people, you know? Everybody needs to realize that when you get a sponsorship deal and you get sponsorship money, it's a privilege. It's not something that you're owed. That's my 2 cents.
Good night, Dana. I'm
Yeah.
here. Good night. Igor Lazarin is at Russia. Dana, Petr Yan said that he wants to rematch. Are you ready to make it?
Yep.
And when?
I have no fucking idea. I mean, it just happened an hour ago. Tuesday we'll get together and we'll figure out where that fight fits, because Sterling wants the rematch too. They both want the rematch. You got to do the rematch. We'll figure it out.
Dana, just going back to the Dominick Cruz hands thing.
You have another one? Hold on a second.
That's all right, mate.
You guys are jumping all over each other. Kevin was
man.
next,
Thank
but
you,
go
man.
ahead.
Thank you. Islam Makhachev wants to face against Tony Ferguson. What do you think about it?
What do I think about Tony Ferguson?
About Islam
Makhachev.
Makhachev against Tony
Makhachev.
Ferguson. Makhachev against Tony
oh.
Ferguson, yep.
Makachev versus Tony Ferguson?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I sure, yeah. I like it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that'd be a great fight. Is that what somebody wants?
It's not about this card, but one question about Zabit Magomedsharipov. His last fight was, I don't know, years ago. Do you have a plan for him and maybe options?
Who's this?
Zabit Magomedsharipov.
Oh, Zabit.
Zabit, yep.
Yeah, I don't know. What's going on with the beat? Yeah, we're working on it.
Great, thank you.
All right. Kevin,
Do you feel size was a factor in the main event?
do I feel size?
Size was a factor in the
Size is always a factor when you move up a weight class in this sport.
Especially going, you know, it wasn't going bantamweight to featherweight. You were going middleweight to light heavy, where you got a 20-pound difference. Do you think that showed itself there?
It was definitely a factor. It was, weight was a factor. You know, when you move up a weight class like that, strength is a factor. How hard these guys hit is a factor. And Jan is the real deal. You know, if you look at and think about what you personally and everyone else thought of Israel Adesanya going into this fight, Jan fought a great fight against him. So.
And, you know, Izzy losing, I mean, obviously it kills a number of big fights for you. Do you think it drops him pound for pound? Because he was a middleweight. He was number 3 ranked in the division. And pound for pound is, you know, if everybody was the same. He fought somebody who wasn't the same. Do you think he should hold his spot where he was? Or do you think because he performed the way he did, and judges had it 4 rounds to 1, that maybe he was too hot.
Yeah, I think it definitely. First of all, I think we can all agree, and I'm not defending Israel Adesanya here. That fight wasn't 4-1. That's batshit nuts. If anybody watched that fight and thinks that fight's 4-1, you're nuts. It was even going into the last round, and Israel was winning the first half of the round. Then Jan took him down and won the fight in the second half of the round. The only thing that makes that fight 4-1 are ridiculous 10-8 rounds. I mean, who in this room thinks that fight was 4-1? Anybody? Tell me if you do. No? Yeah, not one person in here. People who watch fights every fucking weekend think that was 4-1. It's a big problem right now with judging that needs to be fixed.
And just to switch out to the Sterling fight a second, to me it looked like it was an intentional knee. I know Peter said it was not. What was your thought when you watched it, live? I mean, that's the only way to judge.
Do I think that the knee was intentional?
Yeah.
Yeah. He threw the knee. Yeah, he threw the knee. I mean, he didn't slip and accidentally land the knee.
No, but it was like it's pretty obvious he was down, right? So, I mean, fighters know that's the rule.
Yeah. It was an intentional knee.
So
He got hit with a knee. I saw some guys on the internet saying it didn't even land. Oh, it landed. It landed. I felt it.
But I guess what I was getting at is it wasn't like he was halfway up or something.
Kidding me.
It wasn't like he was halfway up. I mean, he was clearly still down. I mean, so what goes through a guy's mind in a situation like that?
I think that there's a lot of fatigue, frustration. It was a good fight. But the thing is, he was turning it on. He was starting to win the fight. He was starting to absolutely, positively take control of that fight. He was winning. You could see Aljamain Sterling breaking. Why you throw that knee, I couldn't tell you.
And then my last question for you, Dana, is given what Izzy tried to do and was unable to do, does that show just how hard the double champ thing is, and tell you about Amanda, how great she is for being able to do what she's able to do?
100%. The double champ thing, it's like the thing to do right now, but it isn't easy to do. The people who have done it are absolutely, positively special. And for somebody like Amanda Nunes, to keep both belts and keep defending both belts at the same time, pretty badass.
So Dana, you mentioned in the past that you saw someone like Max Holloway go up a division and he looked too small for it,
Yep.
and you didn't want to see it again. Do you feel similar to Israel, or could he work his way back up, put on some pounds, and then maybe go to 205 in the future?
Well, think about this. John Jones used to be at that weight class. I mean, John's going to be so much bigger than Israel. I think Israel should focus on middleweight right now. Get back in there and, keep doing what he does in the middleweight division.
Going back to the Dominick Cruz situation just briefly, when he was up here speaking to us post-fight, he mentioned that you'd made a comment on Hans before and stuff like that. Did you have any idea he was going to say that if he won the fight?
No, I had no idea. I had no idea that I knew that they had problems in the past. There are fighters who have had problems with the guy. But no, I didn't know any of this was going to happen, no.
Cool. And then just outside of this event, the Venom deal is meant to start next month. Is that right?
Yes.
When will we be able to see some of the stuff they got coming? And
Oh, yeah. When is that? When?
Cool.
April 10th.
The Darren Till Vittori card. And using that, I'll say, if Darren Till beats Vittori, is he the logical next contender for Israel Adesanya?
I have no idea. I don't know. We'll see.
Cheers, Dan.
Okay.
Dana, right behind him. Did you hear what Tim Elliott had to say against Jordan Espinoza?
No.
They had a conversation. He said he called Jordan Espinoza a woman beater. Said someone messaged him on Facebook with photos of what Jordan Espinoza did to her and stuff. Is that something you have to look into if it's true or?
I have no idea about that.
And then finally, did you catch any streamers this fight?
No. We didn't. Lawrence was supposed to tell me about that. No, I don't. No, I don't think we did. Yeah.
Dana in the back.
Yeah.
to your far left by the wall.
Hi, how are you?
Hey there. Amanda Nunes is a once-in-a-generation type of talent. When did you see that? When did you think that perhaps she would be the most special fighter in UFC female history?
That's a good question. You know, her and I started becoming close. I'm trying to think of what fight it was before. I always liked the Cyborg fight for her. So, you know, we would go to dinner and we would talk about, you know, a matchup with her and Cyborg. And the way that she knocked Cyborg out is when I know.
Actually, you mentioned Cyborg. Did you know that she had a promotional van parked on the side?
Yeah. Well, listen, touche to her. I put out a video with her getting knocked out from 57 different angles the other day. So, touche for parking her van out front.
Dan over here.
Yeah.
I want to know, obviously, when you have a big star just come up immediately, it's very impressive. But when you have a guy like Jan Blachowicz, he started out 2-4, and it looked like championships weren't on his radar as much as job security, maybe. What's it like to see him have a night like tonight and just make that complete 180 in his career to be one of the top guys now in the company?
Yeah, no, I'm happy for the guy. You know, he went in there. That's what this fight was all about. This fight was, is Israel going to beat Jan and go on to superstardom and possibly fight John Jones at heavyweight? You know, tonight was big, and it was fun because, you know, of all the great fights on the card and the storylines on some of these, including that one. But if Jan wins, everybody knows who Jan is on Sunday, and he defeats Israel Adesanya and solidifies himself as one of the top guys in the company.
You've laid out, we obviously have another big pay-per-view at the end of the month. You already announced big stuff for April and June. People are wondering about what does he have planned for May. Can you reveal anything that you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, we're laying out lots of stuff right now. You know, and we have a lot of big fights, a lot of fun fights coming up, and a lot of things that are going to impact the sport. And, you know, it's going to be a really good year. Really good year. I don't have anything to tell you about May, but I can tell you it's all good.
A lot of people were very excited about this card. Obviously, there's a lot of, it's a big night for you. Do you celebrate like the fighters do? Do you say, hey, we had a great night of fights after a big pay-per-view?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm either in a really good mood or a really bad mood after a fight. So, I definitely celebrate one way or the other. Yeah, I mean, I'm super emotional about, you know, how we do on Saturday nights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two more quick ones. Any numbers trending for this one? Do you have any numbers you can share?
It was a good night. It was a really good night. I mean, do I ever share the numbers? I don't ever really share.
Sometimes you just say like this is trending #1 in America and all this.
We were, is Eric in here? I mean, all night. What was weird was, we started early on. We started trending crazy in Canada, and then Brazil, even before the fight started. And you know, it was a big night for us internationally. Internationally, this was a hot fight.
And finally, do you have to have a conversation with Joseph Benavidez? He said he's probably not fighting for a title anytime soon. Just lost to another top-ranked fighter. You said you wanted to have these conversations with like Tyron and JDS and everyone. Do you have to have a conversation with him too?
No.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah.
With Amanda Nunes continuing her dominance, there's one featherweight matchup booked with Danielle Wolf and Felicia Spencer. Depending on the outcome of that, is it potentially a situation where we don't see a fight booked in the female featherweight division for a long time?
No, we'll get together on that on Tuesday and figure out what's next. And listen, we'll keep that division cranking as long as the champ wants to defend it.
Since the bombshell you made about Texas a couple of days ago, I'm sure your phone's being blown up. Is there any advancements in moving UFC 260 to the state of Texas?
Yeah, you know, the governor is claiming that Texas is open. I talked to him, you know, and he wants to open Texas. He wants all businesses to resume, but these mayors in these towns feel differently, so it's unfortunate.
Hey, Dana, back here to your right. Islam Makhachev had a big win tonight against Drew Dober. Just wanted to get your thoughts on him and kind of where he stands in the lightweight division.
Yeah, no, he put on a great performance against a very tough, durable guy. And the choke that he pulled off tonight, was ridiculous. I don't know if you guys saw what I saw, but when he was squeezing his neck, when he had him in that, there was muscles popping out of like the back of his fucking neck and shoulders that I've never seen before. I didn't even know existed. It's pretty crazy because you look at Drew Dober, that's a solid, tough, strong guy. Yeah, it was pretty badass.
Habib was obviously here in his corner. Just wanted to check to see if maybe I had a conversation with him at all.
We did. I said, hey, how about September? He laughed like you did.
Did he say anything else besides
He
that?
just laughed. That's all he did.
So
Yeah, we're going to go to dinner.
this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. And last thing for me, of all the ways that the UFC has succeeded in the last year, where would you rank the Apex as being, on that list of
We were talking
having
about
this?
it tonight. That's a great question. We were talking about it tonight. If you look at, what's been done through 2020 and 2021 so far here in this building, not just the fights, but facilitating you guys and the Contender Series. The Ultimate Fighter is going to be shot here. The governor's announcing Texas is open. Texas isn't open. So as frustrating as it is for me, I'm ready to go. I will move March 27th to Texas today if one of these places would open, but they're not doing it. But at the end of the day, oh well, we'll all just stay here at the Apex. I don't know if you guys are getting as comfy here as I am and lazy. It's pretty easy to swing over here and just walk in and do what we do here. So we can do this forever. And yes, the answer to your question is the Apex is one of the smartest things we've done in 20 years. And timing is everything in life. This place was done just in time for a global pandemic.
I know Fight Island kind of got all the headlines in the press, but would you say this is the most indispensable part of the pandemic for you guys?
Yeah, well, this and Fight Island was a really big deal because we can only do so many fights here before, we burn out all the American talent and you have to start having international fights. And we would have been in big trouble without Fight Island. So I would say they were equally as important.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dana back here.
Yeah.
You mentioned the problems with judging these days that we've been having, and I know that in the past you've banned referees from officiating at UFC events. Is it possible to do the same with judges?
I don't think that's necessary. I just think that for some reason, all of a sudden, these guys are scoring 10-8s for rounds that are clearly not 10-8s. How did you address this? What do you think? It's the criteria they're giving them right now. I think they're getting some bad advice. Yeah.
And, UFC 261, you said was kind of targeted or looked at for Singapore. Just kind of curious what happened with that situation.
We're still going to Singapore. It's just not when we thought we were.
Okay, so not that event then.
The world is really fucked up right now.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
All right, Dana, thanks.
Cool. Have a great weekend, you guys. Thank you.